Hello and welcome to our full moon celebration here on Warren Point Seafront, looking out on beautiful Carlingford. Tonight we'll be looking at various spiritual concepts, namely around responsibility.
Yes, Declan, our theme tonight is mostly responsibility, and that leads us on to the difference in religion and spirituality, and that in turn takes us into the difference between prayer and meditation. So responsibility in two senses. First of all, the responsibility that each one of us has for our own individual soul development. Myself alone, I am responsible for my own soul evolutionary process. Nobody else can do that for me. And I cannot blame anyone else for my failure to progress on my soul journey. Likewise, I am not responsible for anyone else's soul development. No God, no Jesus, no Buddha, no higher being is going to come and get me into heaven. Each one of us is responsible for our own soul evolutionary process. And the other sense of responsibility, which you want to pay more attention to tonight, is the responsibility each one of us has towards other members of society. We are all one in the great universal God energy, the great universal consciousness we call God. We are all one in that. So if someone is suffering and in pain, I am suffering and in pain. If someone anywhere in the world is in poverty or is starving, then I have a responsibility towards that person. We cannot have more than we need if people in the world have less than they need for survival. We have a responsibility for other people's physical well-being and physical needs, but not for their spiritual development. And this next point is very pertinent and very, if you like, it's very obvious today. If anybody in our society, if any group of people in our society are suffering or are in pain because of the actions of anyone else, we have a responsibility to step in and end that suffering and do what we can to protect those vulnerable people. The example I'm going to give you is, Jimmy Savile. Everybody in the BBC knew what Jimmy Savile was doing, yet nobody did anything about it. Where were those bosses of the BBC? Why were they letting that happen? Why were they letting those vulnerable children suffer at the hands of that paedophile? They failed in their responsibility to society. Same as the mother and baby homes here in Ireland. All the abuse in the church. Our country was shocked to its foundation by that. What did we do about it as it was going on? Somebody somewhere must have known it was happening. Okay, they might say, yes, I reported it. They brought it to the hierarchy and they reported it. But what was done about it? It was brushed under the carpet. Didn't go anywhere. So our responsibility just does not end when we report something. Our responsibility goes on further than that, to make sure the person to whom we reported it does what they should be doing about it. That's our responsibility. We can't do the Pilate Act and wash our hands and say, well, I reported, that's me finished. I'm sorry, but it's not us finished. We cannot let anybody suffer. And a lot of people are suffering at this present time because of the actions and the orders and regulations imposed on them by other people. The Nazis at Nuremberg, what was their excuse? I was following orders. I was just doing what I was told. Well, I'm sorry, but that is no excuse. And if you say, well, I didn't know, that's not an excuse either. What you're really saying is, I didn't take the time to find out. I didn't take the time to investigate. Like when you say, I can't do that, what you're really saying is, I don't want to do that. So when we say, I didn't know, what we're really saying is, I did not take the time to investigate and find out the right and the truth of that. That's what we're really saying. And we have the responsibility to find the truth. We are here to find our truth, to speak our truth, and to spread the truth around to other people. It is not my responsibility to make anyone else accept the truth, but we all have a responsibility to get the truth out there. And they have free will. Let them take the choice. They have free will. They can choose either to accept it or not to accept it. That's their free choice. But at least they're entitled to be presented with the truth. Okay, let's move on to religion and spirituality. Because we have given our responsibility, we have handed over responsibility to religion and to our governments. The difference in religion and spirituality. Spirituality, spirit. Religion is a man-made thing. A man-made set of rules and laws, a package offered to us. Here, hand over responsibility to us, join our club, pay your money, don't forget to pay your money, and keep on paying your money, and we will obey our rules and we will get you into heaven. Here's your ticket, you'll get into heaven. It's a very attractive package, Declan, isn't it?
Very much so.
In this life in which we're buzz, 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 go, 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 do, 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 with no time to think these things out. So the package they offer us, here we'll make the rules and laws, all you've got to do is obey them and you will get into heaven. It's a very attractive package. But unfortunately, it does not do what it says on the tin. Okay? Spirituality, on the other hand, is each one of us making our own individual connection with the great universal God energy, with all that is. And nobody can tell you how to do that. We each have to find our own way into that. It's like a child learning to walk. Nobody teaches the child to walk. The child it's an automatic progression. So us finding our connection with spirit is an automatic progression on our spiritual path. We will find it. Some of us just take longer than others, but we're all going in that direction. Each and every one of us will find our own connection to spirit for ourselves in our own way and in our own time when we are ready. We don't need anyone to tell us how to connect with spirit. It's an inner thing, spirituality. And this brings us into the difference in prayer and meditation. Prayer is an outward thing. And praying for most of us is where we're rhyming off prayers we've learnt from we were young, and half the time we don't know what we're saying. And we have this idea that when we're praying, this is what we believe, when we're praying to some external God, some external male figure out there up somewhere in the clouds, who's maybe going to grant one request and not grant another. And the harder we pray, we go like the clappers. You've heard that before, the clappers. We go like the clappers, and we think the harder we go, the more chance we have of getting that request answered. It's not like that. That's not what happens. Now, I'm not saying that prayer is no good. I'm saying prayer is very good. Keep on praying. But what we believe happens in prayer is not what actually happens. We are not connecting with a male figure out there who's going to grant a request. And the harder we go at it, the more we'll get a request granted. What's happening in prayer, and especially when people pray together, it's all about energy again and sending out energy. When we pray, we're always good intention in the heart. Where intention goes, energy flows. We're always praying for the good for somebody. And that energy is going out there. And the more people who gather together, the stronger it gets. So as energy goes out, energy is a vibration. And it collects more of the same to it, and it comes back to us multiplied. So prayer is good, yes, because it's coming from the heart. It's a light energy, a high voltage energy. It goes out, collects more of the same, and comes back to us. So yes, prayer is very good and very necessary, but you must be sure what you're actually doing when you're praying. There's no God out there going to come and grant your request. What you are doing is you are sending out positive energy, high voltage energy, which collects more of the same and comes back to us. And that is all good. Now, what's the difference in prayer and meditation? Meditation has got to do with breath. Breath is spirit and spirit is breath. And we see that very clearly because when we come to pass over, our spirit leaves our body with our last breath. So spirit is breath, breath is spirit. And when we meditate, we are connecting with our own breathing, with our own spirit. We're making that connection, which we do not do in prayer. Okay? Now, how do we get into a meditation state? Well, first of all, we've got to pay attention to our breathing. So we breathe in and we breathe out. What we're doing there is we can feel ourselves pulling in the air. It's a pulling in movement. And then it's a pushing out movement. And after a few deep breaths, we come to the stage where we feel we are not just breathing in and out, but we are being breathed in and out. And when we get to that stage, that is us connected to spirit. So instead of feeling ourselves pulling in air and pushing out air, we will come to the stage where we feel that air is being pushed into us and it's being pulled out. Because remember, when we breathe out, the trees take in our air and then they give us clean air again. There is one breath, there is one spirit, there is one pulse. And it is through your breathing that you connect with that one universal breath. And that's how you do it. Keep on the deep breathing in and out until you feel that you are not just breathing in and out, but you are being breathed in and out by some higher force. And it will come. After just a few breaths, you'll feel that. And instead of you pulling in and pushing out, you will feel the breath being pushed into you and being pulled out of you. And that is you connecting with spirit. Now, connecting with spirit. How do we do connecting with spirit? How do we connect with spirit? How do we connect with the one great universal energy we call God? There is one question you need to ask yourself before you can connect. And that question is, am I happy in what I'm doing? If you have to think about it, well, yes, I am not, then you're not connected, you're not in the right place. Am I happy in my relationship, in my marriage? If you've got to think, well, I am and I'm not, sorry, you're not connected. You're not in the right place. Am I happy in my work? Am I fulfilled in my work? If you've got to think about it, you're not connected, you're not in the right place. Am I happy where I'm living, in my home life, where I am? If you've got to think about it, well, yes, I am and I'm not, you're not in the right place. So what do? You get yourself into the right place. You follow your heart, not your head. If you're not happy in what you're doing, you are not connected with the great universal flow of energy. Let go and let God. Once you connect with that energy, everything just flows for you. Like the river and the tree blocking its way in the middle. The river doesn't knock the tree down. The river flows around the tree. The river is in the flow. If we're in the flow of the natural energy, the great universal God energy, our life flows smoothly, with no hiccups, no disruptions. If we go with the flow, everything works smoothly for us. Now, to connect with that, yes, every morning waking up and see a pillar of light in front of you. Pull down the pillar of light and step into it. That's you in the flow of the light. How do you connect with Mother Earth? Now, Mother Earth, there is only one place we can be, and that is in the present. And to connect with Mother Earth, we've got to be aware of being in the present. Being in the present means being in an increased sense of awareness of our surroundings and how our 5 physical senses are connecting us to the physicality of what's around us. Okay? The present is all we have. Tomorrow, next week, next month, never comes. The future is not going to come. The future doesn't come. Because when tomorrow comes, it's the present. We can't say this is tomorrow, or this is next week. That's not going to happen. The past is gone. The future, we can't live in the future. We could only be in the present. There's no other place for us to be. And when we live in the present, that and are aware of our surroundings, that is us connecting with Mother Earth. And I'll tell you why. We have 5 physical senses: our eyes, ears, nose, scent. We have our taste, and we have our sense of feeling. And those 5 physical senses connect us to Mother Earth around us. And I see people jogging through the forest, jogging down the seafront, and they have earphones in, and they're listening to music, and they're going along having a great time. And they think they're connecting with Mother Earth. But they're not. They're passing through. They're passing over Mother Earth. Mother Earth has its own sounds that it wants to communicate to you. And you can't hear them if you're surrounded by noise and you're surrounded by music in your ears. Take the music out and listen to the waves, the sound of the ocean. Listen to the music coming to you from all aspects of nature. Nature is sending messages to you through the wind, through the sea, everywhere. It's all around us. Open your eyes and see what's there. Connect with Mother Nature. In other words, let your senses be heightened to a greater awareness of your surroundings. Some of us pass through a day and we can't remember where we've been. We maybe travel from one place to another place and we can't remember getting there because we're not in the present. When you're washing the dishes, then be washing the dishes. Don't be thinking about what you're going to do tomorrow or the next day. And Mother Earth, when you're making the dinner, when you're peeling the potatoes, when you're getting the carrots ready, the Brussels sprouts, whatever it is, you have them in your hand. Where have those come from? Those have been produced from the earth, Mother Earth, or from a tree. Everything that we have, everything we touch, no matter what it is, comes from Mother Earth. The clothes we're wearing, all the raw materials that we have used to make goods, they have come originally from Mother Earth. Everything we eat, everything we touch, everything we wear, everything we have, everything we see, comes out of Mother Earth. And if you can be aware of that, that is you connecting with Mother Earth. And it's a very, very simple thing to do. Just increasing your awareness of what Mother Earth provides for us, which is everything. Okay, out in nature, we've got the sounds of nature, the sights of nature, the sense of nature, the feeling. Go and hug a tree. Doesn't matter who's watching. Or put your back up, your spine up against it and feel the energy coming from it. Nature is crying out to us, but we're not listening, we're not looking, we haven't got our senses tuned into that. That's how we're going to connect with Mother Nature. So let me sum up what I've said there, Declan, in a few quotations from people down through history who have been very instrumental in the development of humanity, either for good or for worse. And these are not just conspiracy theories. What are conspiracy theories? This term conspiracy theory began with the assassination of Kennedy. And the Warren Commission decreed and declared that the lone gunman was responsible for Kennedy's death. And anybody else who disagreed with that, or who argued with it, or who questioned it, was castigated as a conspiracy theorist. It turns out the conspiracy theorists were right. It wasn't a lone gunman. And in actual fact, all these conspiracy theorists, the official theory is the one which is the conspiracy theory. They're the ones who are covering up. They're keeping the truth from us. Now, here's what Hitler said. Now, listen to this. What good fortune for governments that people do not think. Are we thinking in this world we're living in today? We have handed over our responsibility to other people to do our thinking for us, and to make the rules and regulations, and we go along like little sheep and we act that way. Francis Bacon was the greatest literary mind of the English Renaissance in the late 15th, early 16th century. And many people, including myself, believe that he was the author of the Shakespearean works. And I have 2 books out to show how I came to that conclusion. What did Francis Bacon say? True knowledge stems not from the authority of others, nor from a blind allegiance to antiquated dogmas. Exactly what I said earlier on. We have handed over our responsibility to the wrong people. We have put our trust in the wrong people. And that's the lesson we're learning since March. We have been trusting the wrong people. Socrates, the unexamined life is not worth living. Exactly what I said. We have not been living our own truth. We've been living as other people have told us to live. And you know this one. Abraham Lincoln, you all know this one. You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. That's the one we all know. We're not all familiar with what George W. Bush said. And this is what he said. George W. Bush, during whose presidency the Twin Towers were taken down 9/11 and America escalated the war in the Middle East. Oil doesn't take a genius to work this all out. What did George W. Bush say? You can fool some of the people all the time. Are you listening? And those are the ones you want to concentrate on. Joseph Goebbels, Minister of Propaganda in Nazi Germany, Hitler's Nazi Reich. He was called Minister of Propaganda, but his real title was Minister of Education. Are you getting the message here? Education and propaganda, synonymous. What did he say? His own words. This is not conspiracy theory. This is what he said. If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. In other words, if you can control people's minds, you can control their actions. What's happening today, Declan?
It's very scary times.
Yes.
Very
and
scary.
He also said, it does not matter whether what you are telling them is true or not. What matters is that you can convince them to believe it is true. Hitler Youth, young people were educated, propagandized, directed, whatever way you want to put it, to spy on their parents and report them to the authorities if they did anything against the authorities. Young children spying on their parents and reporting them, and neighbours reporting neighbours. Does that not sound familiar? Now, why did those children and those neighbours do that? Because they had been indoctrinated and led to believe that they were doing this to save humanity and for the good of society. Reporting on their own parents. See what you can do when you can get into people's minds. Let me read a few more for you. Goebbels again. The truth is the greatest enemy of the state. That's why we are being lied to so much, and why we have been lied to. Because the powers that be do not want us to know the truth. That's why it has been kept from us. But I've said we have a responsibility to find that truth. Franklin Roosevelt, President of America. In politics, listen to this. In politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way. And Dennis Healy, Labour Party, mid-20th century, UK Secretary of State, what did he say? World events do not occur by accident. They are made to happen, whether it is to do with national issues or commerce. Most of the time, they are staged and managed by those who hold the purse strings. And Benjamin Disraeli, 19th century British Prime Minister, before Gladstone. For you see, the world is governed by very different personages from what is imagined by those behind the scenes. And Bill Clinton, there is a government within the government. Now, they're not conspiracy theories. They are words actually spoken by people who knew what they were saying. The truth. What did Churchill say about the truth? Winston Churchill. Man will occasionally stumble over the truth, but most of the time he will just pick himself up and continue on. Rockefeller, one of the big financial, what would you call them, tycoons. In 1994, this is what he said: "We are on the verge of a global transformation. All we need is the right major crisis, and the nations will accept the new world order." The new world order. Paul Warburg, in the 1950s, he was German-born, first chairman of the US Federal Reserve. And in 1950, to a Senate committee, he made this address: "We shall have world government, whether we like it or not. The only question is whether world government will be achieved by conquest or consent." And George Brock Chisholm, the first Director General of WHO, the World Health Organization, 1948 to 53, this is what he said: "To achieve world government, it is necessary to remove from the minds of men their individualism, their loyalty to family traditions, national patriotism, and religious dogmas. One world government, one world religion. That is not conspiracy theory. That has been on the agenda for a long time, and that is where we are heading unless we all waken up very quickly. And the good news after all that is, it's not all bad news. The good news is all is good. It's a wonderful time to be alive, because all that's happening now is actually shocking people into awakening. We are being shocked into waking up, and we needed this to waken us up. Declan, in the morning, to get you up, your wife or your partner doesn't have to just give you a wee rub in the arm and say, "Waking up, Declan." Declan waking up, but he'll roll back over again to sleep. But if she takes a bucket of cold water and throws it around you, Declan will jump out of that bed and you won't go back in because the bed will be wet. So that's what's happening to us. We are shocked to the depths of our core. And it's good that they're doing these things, because that's what's waking us up. And we need shock treatment to waken up. Okay? And the more of us that waken up and realise and cop on to the games they are playing, then those games can no longer be played. Remember, what's politics? Politics is a game played by the wealthy. You know the story of the Emperor's New Clothes, don't you? The Emperor's New Clothes, these poor swindlers convinced the Emperor that they had this material, that they could make this wonderful dress for him, wonderful clothes for him, and that only people who were innocent and good would be able to see it, see them on him. So he went ahead and he got the clothes made, and he went out and round the town and showed them off to people. And people were all, they knew the story, and they said, "Well, no, we can't say we don't see, otherwise that makes us evil. Yes, they all admired the clothes." And one wee child pipes up and says, "But the Emperor's no clothes on him." And then suddenly everybody realised, right? The Emperor had no clue, he'd been swindled. People had been taught and had been deceived into thinking one thing and saying it. Even though they knew they were wrong, they were still saying what they were expected to say, right? And you all know the story about Gulliver's Travels. Gulliver the giant is on the beach, and while he's sleeping, all the little folk, he's a huge big thing, all the little folk come and tie him up. And when he wakens up, he can't move. That's what's happened to us. While we have been asleep in a coma, we have been tied up in all sorts of knots and strings. That's what's happened to us. These people know what they're at. And this agenda has been on the cards for a long, long time. Now, at this point in time in history, we are going through the biggest shift for humanity in all of history. We have got to waken up. If we don't waken up now with all this shock treatment, what is going to be next? We have got to waken up. We have got to find the truth. It's our responsibility to find the truth, and it's our responsibility to get the truth out there. We are now ready to go on our shamanic journey to our own truth. Isn't that right, Declan? To our own authenticity. So let's start that now.
I just wanted to say, Eileen, that was absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
And we must have more voices coming out and saying these things, and perhaps pointing to the lessons from history.
It's all about responsibility. Declan.
Absolutely. It's individual responsibility. You taking responsibility, us taking responsibility for ourselves, for our world, for the people around us, our families, and our friends. And what's really worrying as we go on through this lockdown, it's becoming more and more extreme. For instance, the Assistant Commissioner for the Metropolitan Police in London came out with a statement last week about radicals and radicalisation. And he wasn't talking about Muslim radicals. He was talking about people asking questions about the situation that we now find ourselves in. And with that on record, with that speech made, it's a hop, skip and a jump to calling people who are asking for the truth, calling them terrorists. We're completely in a radical world here. But as you say, and the most important thing that came out of your talk tonight, Eileen, I think, is that we can connect in, we can come together and meditate, connect to the Mother Earth, and we can raise our vibration. And we can, through mediums like this, hopefully, we can connect with each other.
We have rights, Declan, but with every right goes a responsibility. We are taking the rights and claiming the rights, but we're not acting responsibly enough with them. And we have a responsibility. Anybody in the world, no man is an island, as John Donne said. No man is an island. We're all one. And if anybody anywhere is in distress, those people need help, and we have a responsibility to go to their assistance. After this, we're going out onto the beach, and we're going to do a short meditation out there. And I'll just explain this to you before we go. We're actually, the people we're targeting tonight are the people who are living in fear at this present point in time, and those poor people who have suffered and seen their loved ones passing, and were not able to be with them, and couldn't even see them in the coffin. Declan, unless that has happened to you, we cannot understand how awful that must be. That is a crime against humanity, to not be allowed to be with your loved one when they are passing, and to not afford them a proper burial. That's a crime against humanity. Who has the right to tell anyone you cannot be with your loved one when they are passing?
Where has our humanity gone that we now accept such a thing? The people who mean most to us in this life, who've done the most for us in this life, and we can't be there to walk them through that gate.
We have placed our trust in the wrong people. Yeah. That's because human nature is innocent, really, and kind and naturally caring, and we have been taken advantage of by those who thrive on power. So tonight, on the beach, we're going to open up our great big hearts. We're going to fill them with love and light. And we're going to join the fire energy and the full moon energy and the water energy out there and the drumming energy. And we're going to send that out into the universe. And as energy does, as it goes out, it's going to collect more of the same to it. And it's going to come right back to us. And I said before, where intention goes, energy flows. So as that energy is coming back to us, we are going to send out the intention that it is directed towards those people who at this present point in time, no matter where they are in the world, we're all one, no matter where they are, we're directing that energy to them, those who are living in fear and those who are suffering still the trauma of knowing their loved ones were passing and they weren't allowed to be with them. That is just horrific to me. That is just horrific. And my heart goes out, really and truly, to all those who have had to suffer that throughout this year. And that's where we're going to direct that love and light to those people living in fear and those ones who have lost their loved ones without being with them. That's where we're going to direct that energy tonight. And then that's the end of the hard work. And after that, we have a treat for you. But let's do the shamanic journey first of all. Let's go to our own truth, to our own authenticity.
Well, that's what this journey is all about. It's about going to our realness as people, delving deep into that heart, deep into that humanity, and asking, well, what feels right here? What is my gut telling me? Okay, so in this journey, this is going to be a guided journey, a visualization. We are going to go to the upper world. And to do that, first of all, we need a launch pad. And that launch pad is somewhere that you know in your personal life, in your own life, in your own world, where you can visualize and you're very safe and secure in. And we use that security to allow us to ascend then up to the upper world. The second thing you need also is a means by which to go up. Now, you can visualize yourself doing anything. You can climb a tree, you can go up on a wind, a bird can come down and pick you up and take you up, whatever. Make it personal. That's the core of it. So I'll be drumming all the way through this. If you can put your feet on the ground, close your eyes, and begin a deep and slow rhythm of breathing. So breathe in for the count of 4, hold for the count of 4, and release for the count of 4. And keep that pattern of breathing going. And just throw yourself into the sound of the drum. Okay, visualize this safe place. Bring in all your senses to help you through this journey. So begin with your vision. So look around you in this safe place. Look at everything in small detail. Are there any sounds in this place? What sounds do you normally associate with this place? Are there any smells? What's the temperature like? Reach out and touch something, anything at all. How does that feel to your hand? And now we're ready to go to the upper world. So when you're ready, in the manner that you've chosen, go up now. And as you rise up into the sky, see the ground moving further and further away from you. Rising up and up into the sky, penetrating through the big bank of cloud, feeling the cold wetness of the water vapor. emerging out the other side into the bright blue sky. And if you look above you, you'll see a large cloud, and on that cloud is a white walled city. And as you rise higher and higher, you notice standing at the gate of this white city is Archangel Michael, resplendent in his armor, shield, and his sword. And as you get closer and closer and eventually touch down in front of him, he nods recognition and bids you entry into the White City. And as you enter the White City, you look around and see beautifully manicured lawns, pathways. To your right, many tall buildings. To your left, a small river that winds through the White City. And in front of you is the central square, the central meeting place in the White City. And just beyond that is a marble temple. This is the temple of the archangels. Make your way towards this temple and pay very close attention to everything that you see around you, because everything you see on the shamanic journey is important and is there to give you insight and wisdom. Smell the beautiful air of this white city. Smell the magnolia blossoms and the lilies and the roses. And you find yourself standing in the middle of this marble temple, shining in the sun. And at this point, call in all the archangels, all the angels that you feel connected to, all the great powerful archangels, Raphael, Michael, Jophiel, Ariel, and Gabriel appears before you, resplendent in white. Ask Gabriel to lead you to your authenticity, lead you to your realness. Through all that web of confusion that has built up over your lifetime, find your way to your heart. And Gabriel approaches you and puts one hand on your stomach and one hand on your back. And the radiant healing energy flows through you. The love of God, the love of Spirit, flows through you. And you begin to feel your real truth. And suddenly, you are on a street, on a country lane that is so familiar to you. This is the place of your first home, the place you lived as a child. And in front of you is your house, your home. Go up to the house and step through the door. And you will see your parents or loved ones that were around when you were a child, all gathered round. And amongst them is your 8-year-old self. The uncorrupted, innocent soul that you once were. Sit down in front of yourself and connect. Ask him or her, the truth. What is real? What is important? Ask him what you have lost. What is your truth? He will know. And he tells you about connection and love and family and responsibility. And how important it is to be real, to speak your truth, to be honest, to be kind. And feel that energy filtering through that web of confusion, that web of fear. Because truly love is the most important thing. There lies spirit. There lies joy, creativity, realness. Whatever your truth is, no shame, no guilt, just realness. Feel the energy of that realness and bring that into your heart again. And ask your 8-year-old self for one piece of wisdom that you can bring into this life rest of your life. And now it's time to come back. So give your 8-year-old self a hug. Maybe your parents and your loved ones too. Say goodbye for now. And suddenly you're back in the marble temple, feeling Gabriel's beautiful energy surging through you. Thank all the archangels for coming here in this place for you. And make your way back through the White City to the gate and the protection of Archangel Michael. And in the same way that you come up to the White City, go down again. Down through the air. Penetrating through the cold wetness of the bank of clouds. And when you pass through, you see the ground beneath you, looming ever closer. Closer and closer, and the things on the ground getting larger and larger. Until you touch down very gently in that place of safety that you know so well. And take a moment to review what you've just seen, and especially what you've just felt. Keep that in your heart as you bring your spirit back into your body. Feeling the heaviness of your body, the heaviness of your legs and your arms. The denseness of this vehicle that you know so well. Ready? And only when you're ready, open your eyes. Thanks for joining us with that. I hope that was meaningful.
Beautiful, Declan, yes. Very meaningful, yes. It's hard to come back down again, isn't it? Thank you, Declan, yes. Now we're going across to the beach, and we're going to have, first of all, the short meditation I mentioned there a minute ago. And this is directed to those people living in fear at this present point in time, and those people who have had to who are not able to be with their loved ones as they passed over. They've been traumatized, they've been suffering an awful ordeal, and those people desperately need our help, and we have a responsibility to help them. And this is what we're going to do now. We're going to help them by sending them as much love and light as we possibly can. So we'll move across the beach, Declan.
Okay.
Find my coat.
And we will just, if you could bear with us. Maybe reattach the microphone.
Do I need to replace this microphone? Am I all right for this one?
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
And there is a beautiful full moon out there tonight. The best one we've had so far. And we have the fire down in the beach. And we have, of course, the water. Doesn't need to be said. And we'll go down in that direction now. I'm not used to this modern technology, Declan. I'm still using carrier pigeon. You know that, don't you? My carrier pigeon is quite exhausted at the moment. He's begging for respite. But I can't let him go just yet. Okay, thank you. So we're going to cross the road here. And once we get across the road, you can see what's happening on the beach. And there, of course, we've got the beautiful full moon, first of all. Just above. Oh, look at the circle around the moon. Not beautiful, Declan, the colours around the moon. My goodness, that's extraordinary. We've never had it like this before, Declan. It's just never been as clear as this.
Amazing.
Look at the colours around the moon, the circle around the moon, the different colours. Wow.
You can pick that up on the camera.
Can we pick that up? Sensational. Now, can we get across here without ending up under a bus? Now, if we see what's on the beach, we'll take a look before we actually go down. From above here, you can see we've got the big brass and copper gongs down there. And the treat is a beautiful sound bath, musical sound bath you're going to get after we do the meditation. We've got the fire, we've got the energy of the water, the energy of the full moon, the energy of the drums. And we're going down now to start a meditation, and then we'll have the sound bath. So we'll just follow the path down here. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful night. Go around here and we go towards the lights and we'll do our meditation using the fire energy and the water energy and the air and the earth. Story of my life, Declan. Now, so we'll do the hard work first of all. We'll do the meditation first.
Absolutely.
And then we will have the pleasure of gongs. We've been trying to get this to materialise since March, and now it has happened. So the meditation, as we said, first of all, the people we're targeting are those who have suffered the agony and the trauma of their loved ones passing when they were not able to be with them and not even able to see them in the coffin. We're sending love and light to them. And the other section of people is those who are living in fear at this present point in time. No matter where in the world they are, they all need our help, and we have a responsibility towards helping them. They are in pain, they are suffering, and they need lots of love and light. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up our hearts. We're going to fill our hearts with as much love and light as we can get in there. And then we're going to send that love and light out into the universe, merging with the energy of the fire, the energy of the water, the energy of that beautiful full moon up there, and the energy of the drum. And we're going to, where intention goes, energy flows. We're going to send that right out, knowing that as it goes out, it's going to collect gather up more and more of the same to it, and it's going to come back to us magnified many, many times. And we're going to direct that to those people who are living in fear and those people who have suffered the trauma of their loved ones passing and they were not able to be with them. That's where we're directing our energy tonight. So let us just start that now. So here we go. Open up your heart center. Just follow me here. Open up your heart center and imagine that filling up with all the love and light you can muster in there. Knowing that we are being helped by all the other energies here tonight. Whatever way you visualize that, maybe a huge big pink bubble in your heart increasing, getting bigger, or just the light increasing. Or take time to build that up in your heart center. Feel that until your heart's ready to burst. Feel it collecting. And now we'll send it out into the universe with the energy of the fire, the energy of the water, the energy of that full moon, and the energy of the drum. Send it out, out, out as far as you can get it, knowing that as it goes out, it's collecting more and more of the same, and it's going to come right back to us magnified. And as it comes back, we are directing it to go to those people who are living in fear, no matter where in the world they are, and to those people who have suffered the trauma of their loved ones passing in this present pandemic, and they were not able to be with them. So that's where our love and light is being directed. So let us take time to visualize that and to get that movement going. So for the next few minutes, just keep visualizing that. Remember, where intention goes, energy flows. Let it all happen and know that it is happening. Feel the strong energy coming back to us, multiplied by what we've sent out there, and know that that energy is going where we are directing it, to those people who desperately need love and light at this point in time. Okay, I think we've done a good job there with all the energy we've sent out, the collective energy. So we're now ready to, thank you all for that, we're now ready to have our treat. We get a treat after we've worked hard. So let's move over here and meet Brenda.
Well, Vic, I'd like to say thanks for joining us tonight. And hopefully you'll be back with us on the 21st. We have another treat for you on the 21st. And we're going to be looking at the festive time of the year and the change of the seasons and lots of interesting topics, Amy.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you. So I'm going to leave you in the capable hands of Brenda.
And Brenda, this is Brenda Murnahan. Brenda is from Pure Reflections in Dundalk, and Brenda is a holistic therapist and a sound therapist. And here, this is what we've been promising you, these beautiful brass and copper gongs in the moonlight, in the firelight, and we're going to have a musical sound bath now. So Brenda, you're more than welcome. We've been trying for this for a long time, Brenda. Cancellations at the last minute, but now we're ready to go, so just let's enjoy this. Declan, here's something. I think I'm coming apart, am I? Over to here. Right, Brenda, when you're ready. It's not supposed to be tied up stuff, you know. When you're ready, Brenda, beautiful.
Brenda, thank you so much. That was absolutely lovely. You're like a goddess there, playing those, beautiful goddess. And Brenda, as I mentioned before, is from Pure Reflections in Dundalk. And she is available for hire, herself and her beautiful brass and copper gongs here. And any particular event you want, any special event you have coming, Brenda will no doubt enhance the evening for you. And we'll have you back again here, Brenda, this night, 3 weeks, the 21st of December, won't we? That's the winter solstice. And we'll also have that night with us Carmel Davini from the Celtic School of Sound Healing in Swords, with more of these beautiful instruments and some other ones besides. And we really look forward to that. So we look forward to having you again, Brenda. Thank you very much for that. That was absolutely beautiful. You're a goddess. You really are a goddess. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope you've enjoyed the evening. We certainly have. What a beautiful way to end it. And we'll finish now. We'll let Brenda gong you out and for the next few minutes. Join us again, please, this night, 3 weeks for the winter solstice, 8:30 here as usual. So until then, take care and namaste.